Hello everyone, today we're going to be talking about the patch notes. They gave us the full detail of the patch notes today. So unfortunately I only have this camera and my phone. So I'm literally going to read the patch notes on my phone, which is like down here. And I'm just going to point out a couple things which I find is very important for you guys to know. Because in NCWEST traditional fashion, they did change a few things. So there's a few things that we really need to address and that you guys really need to know before the patch goes live. So as always, there is good news and bad news. Very little good news and a lot of bad news again as usual. So let's start off with the good news since it's shorter. And that is basically we get more solar energies now. So whenever you finish 2 of the daily challenges, instead of getting 4 solar energies, now you get 6. So that's good. Yay! Another good thing is the new soul badges are coming out, as well as the trial arena is resetting. So for my friends who don't know, doing trial arena is your first priority if you need the new badge. Because by doing the trial arena, you can farm at least half of the tokens needed. So you need 70 of the Tower of Infinity tokens in order to get the new badge. And by doing trial arena, you can get at least 35, minimum 35. Even if you have like total garbage gear, you can still do it fresh out of the story. If you have better gear, then you can get a lot more. You can get maybe 80%, 90%, maybe even all of the tokens you need just by doing Trial Arena. And if you're missing a few, then just go into Trial Arena and blast through it. That way you can get your badge ASAP. Make sure you do have 5 Divine Greystones just sitting around so that you can do the fusion. And it's free DPS, so that's a pretty big DPS gain that you're gonna get. If you guys don't know what badge to get, check my video 2 days ago. I have a video which covers every single class and what badge is best in slot for them, okay? So that concludes the good news. Now, unfortunately, we need to get to the bad news. So I'm gonna scroll all the way down on this patch notes. So the first piece of bad news is the resolution stones and the grand resolution stones. So these are basically like nebula stones. However, you use them instead of using transformation stones and premium transformation stones. However, these stones can only be used up to Grand Celestial Stage 6 if you are going the raid path. For the PvE path, it only goes up to Skyforge or Shadowforge Stage 6. So this is basically used for your ults, or for players who are trying to catch up, or for new players in the game. For more veteran players such as myself, this is kind of useless for most of my characters, since most of my characters are already at Grand Celestial Stage 6, but maybe my ults could use it. So that's the first piece of bad news. I was hoping that this would be able to get us to at least like Grand Celestial 9 or maybe even Thornbreaker Stage 3. But unfortunately, it is what it is. So that's the first piece of bad news. The second piece of bad news is a much bigger deal, and that is the honing oil. So there are 2 steps of the bad news. So the first step is we used to be able to get honing oils on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So 3 days in a week by doing your daily challenge as well as the weekly. So you could get up to 4 of these medium honing oil chests, which contain 25 to 75 honing oil. So, you know, worst case scenario, if your RNG is really rubbish, you were able to get 100 of these honing oils. So every week and a quarter, you were able to craft a sacred vial. However, now they've taken away Friday from the daily challenge. So from the daily challenges, you'll only be able to get it on Saturdays and Sundays, and then you have the weekly. So you're only able to get 3 of these medium honing oil chests every week, which if your RNG is crap, you're only gonna get 75 of them every single week. So it takes about like 2 weeks in order to have enough to craft a sacred vial. Another thing is they significantly increased the material cost. I'll post a picture like up here on my right of the actual costs. You can see that they didn't change anything about the honing oil cost, but the material cost increased significantly. It used to be 5 Moonstone crystals, 5 Elysian crystals, 5 Soulstone crystals, and 5 Sacred crystals. However, now they changed it to 30, 30, 30, 30 if you want to make a Sacred Vial. And if you want to make a pet pack, it's 10, 10, 10, 10 instead of 1, 1, 1, 1. So they increased it significantly by quite a bit. There are ways where they could justify this. However, honestly, I don't think that they are doing it. And the one way that they could justify this would be increasing the chance or the probability of crafting it. But to be perfectly honest, if it's something RNG like this, we shouldn't have the cost jacked up this high. Because having it pumped up this high, unless they made the probability, 100%, then it would be worth it. But that's a lot of crystals that you need to collect. you know, Moonstone crystals, Elysian, Soulstone crystals, Sacred crystals. Unless you've been AFK fishing for a lot, you won't have so many crystals in order to make multiple sacred vials. And with the whole fiasco going on right now with the bannings or the IP bans, a lot of people aren't auto fishing because it's, you know, you might get banned for just auto fishing. So it is quite a problem. If they changed it to 100% craft rate at this cost, I think it would be justified. But because it's a chance, people are very unhappy about it, and understandably so. They should be unhappy about it. So I do hope that NC West either very transparently tells us what the probability is. Like, is it 75%? Did they increase it from 50% to 75%? Or like, what exactly did they change? Why is it so much more expensive? Like, you know, I do understand that 5 of each material was a little bit on the cheap side. It was really, really cheap. But increasing it 6 times like this, you know, there's got to be some sort of explanation, I hope. And if there's no explanation, then you might as well just change this to 100% craft rate, and it would make everyone happy. And people wouldn't complain so much about the increased cost. But yeah, that's the bad news for this event. Is this event worth doing? Probably. For your alts, I would still think it's pretty much worth doing because it's not that difficult to do. You just do your weeklies, you just do your dailies. As for the honing oil, I mean, I wouldn't go out of my way to do it because it is terribly expensive now. If you guys have the chance to test it out, maybe someone on Reddit will test it out. I am quite curious about the crafting rate or the success rate. If the success rate is like, you know, 75%, 80%, then maybe it's justifiable, but just barely. It should just be guaranteed, to be perfectly honest, at this cost. But anyway, that's it for me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, I would appreciate a subscribe, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Bye.
What can I say except you're welcome?